actually one of the co-founders of Exact Contact and the head of sales and marketing. And I'm very excited about today's presentation as well. There's my contact info. I'm going to put this slide up at the end again if you need it. This is a topic that I am particularly passionate about. 5 key steps for turning leads into lifetime clients. So the agenda, what are we going to do over the next hour here? And as Bob mentioned, this is very much intended to be an educational webinar. This is not a, it's not a demo. It's not a software demo. So if you're expecting to see, click by click, here's how to do this and do that, this is more strategic. It doesn't mean it's pie in the sky. We're going to talk about real business problems, real solutions, and real ways to grow your business. But it's not a software demo. So just to let you know that up front. So we're going to talk about what is the problem that we're trying to solve. It's always a good starting point. We're going to define what this 5 key steps for turning leads into lifetime clients is. We will look at how a real estate CRM and an email marketing system, such as Exact Contact, can help you. And I'm going to give you an introduction to Exact Contact and a little special offer at the end. So let's jump in. So just framing up today's webinar a little bit more, as I say, this is a strategic look at the entire process. And I think I'm passionate about this because I think so often realtors are presented by with what I call point solutions. There's great software or a great webinar on generating leads, or here's a great solution for just keeping in touch. And the reality is that to grow your business, you really need to do a good job at the entire life cycle, from generating new leads, converting leads into clients, executing the transaction, and keeping in touch to turn those past clients into a new and ongoing source of referrals and repeat business. So these will be practical ideas that you can put to work in your business quickly and easily. And I'm going to throw a lot of ideas at you. You don't have to do them all. So that's one thing I'll tell you. There's good ideas here. There is a sort of process, but you may find that as we go through this webinar, certain steps you'll say, hey, I've got that nailed. I'm good at that already. There's other steps where you go, wow, I could really do a better job in that area. Pick the one that makes sense to you, where you feel you've got the most opportunity for improvement, and put it into action, right? Another way to look at it is that this is kind of a look at the forest without getting lost in the trees. So often we're down in the nits and gnats, and I'm trying to take this seminar up to a slightly higher level. And we'll also have a good look at how a real estate CRM like Exact Contact or any other can play an important role in virtually every stage of your business. So the process we're going to look at is a conceptual strategic process. You don't have to have a CRM to implement it, but having a CRM, systematizing the process just makes the entire thing that much more easier, faster, quicker, and more efficient. Okay, so question number 1, why? Why should we care about this, Rich? And the simple answer is this. Virtually everything I'm going to talk about today, and every step and every idea I'm going to share with you, in one way or another, either saves you time, will save you money, will help you be better organized, and or convert more leads into listings, and or grow more clients into loyal lifetime supporters, and ultimately will help you lay the foundation for a referrals-based business, which ultimately I think every realtor, every agent should be trying to accomplish over the course of their career. Why? Because it's an easier, more time-efficient way and more pleasant way to make a good living. Okay? So I want to share a bit of data with you. So that's the why. So what do we have a problem? What's the deal? And it's a little bit of data, and this is NAR data. So data point number 1 is that over 70% of all leads are never contacted. That probably comes as a shock to you, but this is actually true. The vast majority of leads are never contacted. And in my opinion, as a sort of 35-year career sales guy, that's just plain sad. But the next fact to me is even more stunning. And there's good news in here. So when consumers are surveyed after a transaction, and they're asked, how do you feel about the service of your realtor, over 85% rate themselves as satisfied or very satisfied. In other words, their agent did a good job, and they say that they would use their current agent again on their next transaction. And yet, the data actually says that only 15% of those people do. And this is just plain tragic, in my opinion. When you've done a great job, and 85% of people want to use you again, but only 15% actually do, it's tragic, and it raises the great question, why is that? So, Bob, I think you had something you want to
So that comes out of, and I think everybody, as long as you're a member of the National Association of Realtors, you should be familiar with these stats he just gave you. These come out of the NAR Home Buyer and Seller Survey. They do it every single year. It comes out in October. You guys can get this kind of extended copy of this thing that gives you a lot of kind of, I mean, these kind of stats. There's a lot of great business intelligence in that thing, and Rich has kind of highlighted a couple that we should all just shake our head in wonderment at. But you know, check out that Home Buyer and Seller Survey that NAR puts out every year. You guys should absolutely kind of know that thing forward and back.
Yeah, right on. And actually, one of the amazing things is that that little bit of data I was just sharing with you about, 85% overall satisfaction with the job done by the agent, but only 15% actually being, going back to that same agent. That data, they've been asking that question for decades. And sadly, that data doesn't change much. I mean, sometimes it pops up to 20% or whatever, but it's kind of, it's been that way for a long time. And this is a core issue. And it raises the question, well, why? Why would somebody who says, I was really happy with Bob's service, and I would definitely work with him again and recommend him to my friends and family, why would they, choose a different realtor 3, 5, 7 years down the line when they do their next transaction? And the answer is kind of breathtaking in its simplicity. They don't work with Bob again because they've forgotten Bob's name.
Oh.
And then the question is, well, whose fault is that? Are you going to blame the consumer because they got a lousy memory? Of course not. The answer is, Bob failed to keep in touch. And the consumer, the client, forgot Bob's name. So this whole webinar is largely around trying to kill that issue. So then, okay, what's the problem? So realtors I know are very intelligent, hardworking people. Nobody's going to want to do all the work to execute a good transaction, to develop a happy client, and then let that client go. So what's going on here? And the core of the issue, there's really two issues. One is that real estate is, by definition, a crazy, insane, chaotic, nutsy, goo-goo business. It's just, it's nuts. And the other problem is that there's two things that work against you. I heard one realtor say to me, Rich, there's two states in this business. In theory, there's a middle point between them, but I've never been there. I'm always in one extreme or the other. The one extreme is, I don't have enough business. I need a listing. I need some buyers. If I don't get some listings and buyers, I'm going to have trouble making my own mortgage in a month or two. And there's this frantic search for business. The other extreme is, oh my God, I just landed 4 listings this month. Hallelujah. But now I'm so busy. I'm working 10, 12 hours a day. I can't even sleep. So on. And the realtors often flip-flop between these two extremes. And what happens is, in the good times, when you've got those multiple listings on the go and you're making good money, that's actually when the keep-in-touch marketing, the keep-in-touch activities and communications, that's when they fall by the wayside. You just can't get to them. So the problem then is, let's say you've had a really good year or 18 months, but you let all your keep-in-touch go by the wayside because you're too busy with active clients and transactions and so on. Now it's very hard to start that engine up again, and that's what happens. So what's the solution? Well, I talked to one lady who said to me, we were talking about this very issue and how crazy the real estate business is, and the oscillation back and forth. She said, I have a solution. Every morning I go to Starbucks and I have a cafe, mocha, vodka, Valium latte to go. So I chuckled. That's a way with dealing with the pain. It doesn't necessarily solve the problem. So we have a different solution. I'll call this the solution take 2. And that is to master the 5 key steps from new lead to lifetime client. And ideally using a good real estate CRM and email marketing system such as Exact Contact. So let's jump in. So what are these 5 key steps? So step number 1 is to generate new leads. Now, I will point out the focus on this seminar, this webinar today, is not on number 1. So we'll take a quick look at it, but really, if per the title, 5 key steps for turning leads into lifetime clients, our real focus will be on steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. But I kind of felt, before we can start talking about how you capture and qualify and nurture and convert leads, we should have some discussion about how do I get a lead in the first place. So we are going to talk about lead generation. And I'm actually going to share with you just a couple of ideas. So lead generation is a huge topic. There are literally hundreds of ways that agents can generate leads. We're not going to look at that. I am going to look at a couple of key ways. And one of them I think you're going to say, oh, Rich, this is so obvious. Why'd you bother? But there's a reason. And the other is a much word just left me, much less known area or way of generating leads. So we will look at that. There's an old expression in sales, nothing happens until somebody sells something. I think in real estate, a good corollary would be nothing happens until somebody generates a lead. So real estate really does require leads. But really the focus of this webinar will be, okay, now you've generated a lead from either one of the methods we're going to talk about or the other 98 methods. Now the question is, how do you do a good job capturing and qualifying those new leads? Step 3, you need to nurture and convert leads into clients. Step 4, now you've got a client, now you have to execute the transaction professionally and with excellence. If you've done step 4, professionally with excellence, now you can go into step 5, where by doing the right things to keep in touch, stay top of mind, you can generate referrals and repeat business. And by generating referrals and repeat business, those are new opportunities, which are new leads, and then and so on the cycle continues. So let's drill down on step 1. So as I mentioned, lead generation is a massive topic. We could have a 3-hour webinar just on that. I'm going to focus on a couple of ideas. And the first idea is to have a website. And I know a lot of you out there groaning and saying, oh my God, Rich, this is like, this is kindergarten. Of course I've got a website. You may be surprised to know that over half of all realtors, half of all agents do not have a website. They may think they have one, but they don't. Often I'll talk to an agent, I'll say, so, tell me about your website, or, they'll share with me their URL, and I'll go to their website, and it's not an agent website. It's a page on their broker's site. It's a little sort of agent profile page, and often it has, a little photo, so a contact, phone number, and that's it. If they're lucky, there's a bit of content describing who they are. But often it's a photo and a phone number. And that little agent page looks identical to the other agent pages for the other 237 agents that work for that brokerage. That's not a website. You need to have your own personal website to build your own online presence and brand. And the reason that's so important is because the vast majority of people today, the first thing they're going to do when you come to their attention, no matter how it is, even if their brother recommends you and says, go check out Bob, did a great job for me when we sold our house over on Pleasant Avenue. Even when it's a recommendation, a referral, the first thing the consumer does is they go to Google, they Google you, and they check you out online. That's what everybody does today. And the question is, what are they going to see? Are they going to see a professional website that's informative and really positions you as a professional? Or are they going to see something that is either bad, just plain bad, like a page on your broker's site, or are they going to see a website that was built in 2004 and it's showing every bit of its age? It's clunky, it looks old-fashioned, it's not mobile-friendly, and so on. So step number 1, you need to build yourself a nice mobile-friendly realtor website. In order to establish your online presence, you need to make sure that your website provides the information consumers want, which largely is listings. So you want to make sure you can incorporate IDX into it. In addition, you should provide valuable information. If sellers and buyers are there, they're looking for some information beyond just the raw listings data, and it's an opportunity to make sure that your website tells your story. It brands you, talks about the communities you serve, and also provides some useful information. And of course, it's important that your website have some lead generation capabilities, lead capture and lead generation capabilities, such as targeted lead capture forms for buyer leads, seller leads, home evaluation requests, and so on. This is just an example. The only point of this really is to highlight what I mean by mobile friendly. The technical term is responsive. So on the left is just a home page, the top of the page, built with Exact Contact. Exact Contact does include a website component. And this is how it looks on my laptop, right? And you can see the nav bar across the top, and a nice branding for Vivian. And we have different templates. Vivian's branding happens to be here, it could be at the top, and so on. There's your property search, and if I kept going down, I would have Vivian's listings and so on. Looks really nice on desktop. On my iPhone 5, this is how it looks. So this is what's called a responsive website. When you go to your iPhone 5, everything rearranges itself so that it still looks very professional, as opposed to everything shrinking, and you have to do the little two-finger, pinch and zoom. So that's just what, responsive means. And, here your image still makes sense. You've still got the agent slogan, their branding, name, phone number. Everything's readable without any pinching and zooming or swiping left and right. So that's what a mobile-friendly website looks like. Just for fun, that first one I showed you was sort of a demo off our site, but this is one that's a real website built by a fellow in Tennessee named Flint Adam. And he took our template and really took it for a ride. He customized it pretty heavily. He's got a social media integration. He rewrote our homepage content to just talk about what he does in the community of Nolensville, embedded a video and so on, and here's how his looks. I think I used, I think it's still an iPhone 5. I just expanded the picture a bit more. So, you know, there he is, the phone number, his social media contacts, his branding, and so on. Of course, you want to engage consumers. So one thing is a professional online presence. We just looked at that. Second thing, how do you engage consumers? Well, you want to have a good IDX. You have nice listings and many ways for people to engage with those listings and get more information, and that's where the lead capture comes in. So, you know, if you get the more advanced IDX, you can capture leads with powerful sort of search functionality such as, you know, map and polygon search, save searches. It sounds a little technical, but the idea is the consumer's on your website, they check, you know, did a little search, they're drilling down now on listings that they might be interested in, and you want to have some, what's the technical term is gated content or squeeze pages. The idea is, let's say they've created a little search, they're thinking, I'd love to get listing alerts. So they tap a button that says, give me alerts whenever there's a new listing that, you know, in this search area. When that happens, a pop-up appears and asks for their first name, last name, email address, and phone number. Of course, when they hit submit, now they'll get those, you know, those listing alerts, but you are 1 instant later getting a new lead alert email, right? So that's sort of how your website leads to driving new leads for you. Idea number 2 is to find hot leads hiding in your database with something called email campaign reporting. So I'm sure everyone's thinking, yeah, websites make sense. I hope my website generates leads. If I'm not, I guess I need to drive more traffic, etc. But very few realtors that I talk to understand the potential lead generating power of email if combined with email campaign reporting. So we're going to take a look at that. And sorry, I have to pause for 1 second. Okay, so let's suppose you've just got a great new listing, and you grab one of our little, just listed eFlyer templates in the system. You put in the photos where the photos are supposed to be. You put in it's a template, right? You put in the address where it's supposed to be, the price, some data on it, and of course, like every good email marketing piece you ever do, should be a call to action. So this one is, learn more about this beautiful home. The person clicks that, takes them over to the listing on your website, where you go. Now you don't know they've gone there unless they fill out a form on your website, all right? But with email campaign reporting, you can go in a day or two after you send that flyer and drill down and see all the names of the people. Maybe you sent that email to 342 people that you thought might be interested in this listing. You can see not only what percentage opened it, what percentage clicked on hyperlinks. You can see the names of the people who opened it, how many times they opened it, which is a sign of interest. If they open it multiple times, it could be because they're forwarding it on to other people, like their wife, their Uncle Bob, their mortgage broker. And each time they open it, it counts as an open under. You can't see the names of the people they forwarded to for privacy reasons, but you can see the opens. But the best part of all is you can see who clicked on that hyperlink to learn more about this beautiful home. Those people are potentially very hot, high-quality leads. It's truly like finding the hidden gold in your database. And the reason those leads are so good is that these are people who've demonstrated through their behavior that they're interested in the listing. They opened your email, they read it to the bottom, and they clicked to learn more about that beautiful home. Now you may be thinking, yeah, but then they'll just phone me. That's not how the world works. It's not a perfect world. So what you do, let's say only 7 people click that link of the 342 people that you sent that to. That's okay. You call those 7 people and you just start talking to them and say, hey, by the way, I got this great new listing. I sent a flyer to a bunch of people. I'm not sure if you were on the distribution list, but I thought you might be interested. And before you get much further, the person you're talking to, Jane, will interrupt and say, Rich, yes, I did get your email. And, I was meaning to call you, but, Bob's been sick and Janie has dance recitals and things have been so hectic. But tell me, does it have 4 bathrooms or 3, and is it, north facing or south facing? So you can develop real business simply by promoting your listings. But the key is the campaign reporting, because without it, you don't know who clicked on that hyperlink to learn more about this beautiful home. So there's our 2 ideas for lead generation, and we're going to move on now to step 2. So now we're generating from some leads, right? And as I say, whether you're getting leads from your website, you've already got a database, and you're generating leads from within your database, or you're using one of the other 998 methods of lead generation, you're getting some leads. And now what we need to do, what's critically important, is that we need to capture and qualify the new leads efficiently and effectively. So first of all, we want to make sure that we are auto-capturing leads. A lot of people do this today, and a lot of people are still entering them manually. And you think, well, what's wrong with entering them manually? I don't get that many leads, Rich. It's not a big deal. You know, I only get, 3 or 4 a day, or maybe it's 3 or 4 a week. I don't know. It depends on, how aggressive your lead generation activities. But here's the issue. Number one, your leads come in through the day, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'll put them in my CRM, when I get home tonight. Well, first of all, getting home tonight is several hours later. Second of all, you get home tonight, and actually you forgot, you've got baseball practice, and you've got this happening, that happening, and it doesn't happen. So then you say, I'll do it tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes the next day, and before you know it, it's Saturday. Now you're entering 15 or 20 leads, and that takes some time, and it's unnecessary. But worst of all, anybody who's a hot lead, they're gone already. You've lost that opportunity. So what you really want is automated lead capture, which means no matter where you're getting a lead from, whether it's from your website, whether it's an exact website, or you've got already an existing website, or Zillow, or you're buying leads from, Realtor.com, it doesn't matter, Homes.com, you want those leads to flow directly into your CRM system. You can even tell the software to put them in the appropriate category and to assign a automated lead nurture campaign. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But you want that to happen, and you want to make sure that you get an immediate email alert. Okay? The reason this is so important, one benefit is you're saving time by not, retyping in data, but the big issue is you want that lead, you want to get that lead alert right away. You want to get the lead right into your database so that automatic nurturing can start. And it's so critical because research shows that, and this again I think is NAR research from that study Bob was mentioning, 80% of hot leads end up working with the first realtor they speak with. And that's kind of stunning. Even consumers who said that they ended up speaking with 5 or 6 realtors, 80% of the time ended up working with the first realtor they speak with. So if you're getting leads, it's critical to capture them and respond to them as fast as possible. Make sure that's you. Now, we're talking lead capture and lead qualification. The qualification, the capture part and the alert part, your CRM's all over that. Automate that process completely. The qualifying part really is kind of up to you, right? No CRM can do that for you. This is the part where you get on the phone and you're talking to the prospect, and it's really up to you and your laser-sharp qualifying skills to do that. So what's step number 3? So now you've generated some leads. You're doing an excellent job capturing them. They're going right into a nurture campaign. You're getting the alerts. You're talking to people quickly, and you're starting to convert. You're starting to convert these leads into qualified prospects. So the third step is to nurture and convert these leads into clients. So you think, well, wait a second. I've talked to them. I've qualified them. They're a client now. And the answer is yes and no. If the lead is in a hurry, realtors know what to do with the right now, what I'll call the right now lead. You get on the phone, and Tom says, oh, geez, Rich, I'm so glad you called me. I'm desperate for a realtor. I need to help. I need to sell my house yesterday. Can you help me? Every agent knows exactly what to do. You jump all over that. You're at Bob's house later in the afternoon. You're making your listing presentation, and away you go. Where realtors struggle is the longer-term lead that doesn't fit neatly into their 30-day funnel or whatever. And one of the mistakes that a lot of agents make is that they confuse lead timing with lead quality. So they'll look at a lead and say, oh, this person's not moving for a year. Poor lead. The answer is not so fast. It depends who the person is. They may have a 90% chance of doing exactly what they say they're going to do, and they're going to work with a realtor. And the question is it going to be you or someone else? So timing and quality are 2 very different things. And often, some of the best quality leads, people from within your database, people that in your sphere of influence, will tell you when they're long-term leads. And the key then is to nurture and them over time, stay in touch, do it the right way, and keep and make sure that you're the one that they eventually choose. So this is all about lead nurturing. Again, this is the longer-term lead, and the key is you want to stay top of mind. So whenever they move from thinking about it to ready to roll, you're the one they think of. You're the one that's top of mind. So what are some things that you can do to make sure that 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the line, they think of you and not somebody else? One great way is to take advantage of targeted drip email nurture campaigns. And a drip, so what does this mean? What is a targeted drip email nurture campaign. So let's break it down. So drip email simply means these are a series of pre-scheduled email communications that will go out over time. Targeted means the campaign, which is the whole series of emails, is entirely designed to talk to the needs of a specific target audience. So in the simplest case, the issues that buyers think about, the issues, needs, concerns of buyers are very different than the issues, needs, concerns of sellers. So you got to make sure that your email communications are speaking to their needs and issues. Renters, same thing, different set of needs and issues. FSBOs, you know, we have a good real estate CRM. We'll have campaigns for renters, FSBOs, expires, along with, you know, hot buyer leads and longer-term buyer leads, hot seller leads, longer-term seller leads, that kind of thing. And the best nurture campaigns aren't just all email. They fold in automated call reminders. Drip email is great because the emails do a good job of positioning you as kind of the expert in all things real estate related, because you're providing valuable information to the recipient, right? But no drip email campaign ever converted a lead into a client that I'm aware of. That's a human task. So a good campaign will go, you know, email, 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 pick up the phone and make a call. Email, 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 pick up the phone and make a call. And the CRM gives you that task reminder when it's time to make the call, and will even suggest what you might want to talk about. So, you know, and let me give you two examples of where nurturing is so critical. Probably should have mentioned this at the beginning. Two quick examples. You need an elderly couple, and through the conversation they mentioned to you that their last child, James, is moving. He's in grade 12, and he's going to be moving out of off to university or college in a year. And when that happens, they're planning to downsize their big suburban home and move to a downtown condo by the lake. And they're going to do it. This is potentially not potentially, this is a high quality lead. But they're not moving right now. They don't fit into your 30, 60, 90-day funnel. And most agents say, oh, that's great. Oh, yeah, well, we'll talk, blah, blah, blah. And they move on, and they do nothing to stay in touch with that lead. If you're the realtor who keeps in touch with that person with the right kind of information, every 3 months make a phone call, when that client goes to, you know, sell their home and buy a downtown condo, you're the one they'll call. Another great example is a young couple who's currently renting. But, you know, they're in their early 30s, they're making good money, and they're about to have their first child. And, you know, at the party you're at, they mentioned, yeah, you know, our child's going to have green grass to crawl around on. So, you know, we're renting today, but within a year or two, we plan to buy a home. Great. You know, they're going to do it. The question is, which realtor are they going to do it with? And through lead nurturing, you can make sure that it's you. This is just actually an example from Exact Contact of what a plan looks like. This one is actually the 2 years, so 2-year seller prospecting plan. So sort of for long-term seller leads like that elderly couple. And you can see how, you know, at their monthly emails, or maybe I think they're tri-weekly. Every 3 weeks an email goes out, and then you have these periodic phone call reminders. The other part of step 3 is to convert leads into clients. So kind of with like the lead qualifying, this one's kind of up to you. No CRM can convert a lead for you, but your CRM can help you identify when leads are showing signs of interest through the email campaign reporting, how they're responding to your emails, opening them, reading them, and so on. And also, are they going to your website? You know, if it's a buyer lead, are you getting more active on your website and checking out, you know, listings and things like that? But the actual task of picking up the phone, talking to the prospect, and closing them on working with you as their transaction, that's up to you.
It's up to
Before
you.
It was your
CRM can put you in a position to do that, right? The idea that
that's
you can
exactly
have those reminders. And I talked to a lady yesterday for our podcast, and I'd asked her, like, what's something she does that maybe not everybody does in her business, and her answer was she shows up. And this really allows you to, like, show up, right? Having a CRM that says, man, these people are 2 years out, but I know I'm going to call them every couple months, and I'm going to remember to do that because my CRM tells me to. I mean, there's something simple in that, but powerful.
You nailed it, Bob. That's exactly it. You know, every good agent knows what to do when they're on the phone call with the prospect who's now ready to move forward. But it's getting that reminder, having prepared the prospect, and then getting that reminder so you know when to make the call. And that is, you know, that's kind of the second bullet here. So yeah, thanks for highlighting that. All right, step 4. So this is awesome. We are generating leads. We're doing a great job capturing them, responding quickly, putting them into our database automatically. We're assigning the appropriate nurture campaign. We're staying on top of our leads. We're making the phone calls that our CRM reminds us to make, and we're closing leads and converting them into clients. So now step 4 is, okay, execute the transaction. You got to help somebody either buy a home or you got to help somebody sell their home. And this is actually a critical step. So many agents make a tragic mistake. They focus an awful lot on steps 1, 2, and 3. They invest an immense amount of time, sometimes thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or tens of thousands definitely, into lead generation. And they're on top of their leads, and they do a good job qualifying and capturing, and they nurture them and convert them into clients. But then when they get the client, there's almost this mental thing that happens where they feel the job's done. And actually, it is partly done, but it's not done. You've got to do a great job on the transaction. We work with a partner called Jennifer Allen Hagedorn. She's a real estate website blogger and coach and author. She's written multiple books. And the big part of her whole philosophy is around this step 4. She says, you know what, nothing else matters if you don't do a good job, a professional job, a job with excellence at the transaction. And she's absolutely right. So if you don't do a good job in step 4, you've been a marketing and sales wizard through steps 1, 2, and 3, and you do a mediocre or poor job in step 4, then you don't get to go to step 5. It doesn't matter what you do after that. You can do all the keep in touch marketing in the world. You will not be generating referrals and repeat business. So step 4 is huge. So what can we do here to make ourselves successful at this step? So one thing we can do is make sure that we stay organized and in control. And how can a CRM help you? So again, I'm going to go back to the two extremes that realtors live in. One is, oh my God, I need more business, and the other is, oh my God, I have too much business, I don't know how I'm going to manage it all, right? And that's where often step 4 falls by the wayside. When times are good, when a realtor has a lot of listings on the go, or a lot of sellers buyers they're working with. And often what happens is they just get out of control. Literally, the wheels fall off the bus. They start missing appointments, they start missing key milestones, they're not communicating properly, and it's not a pretty picture, right? So when you use a good real estate CRM, it helps you to stay organized and in control. First of all, you've got all the data related to your listings and your closings in one place. The people you're working with, the data related to the info. You've got all your data related to related to the third parties that are involved. You can track your showings and manage your showings. You can do document upload and storage. All your documents are in one place. And one of the best features is something called listing and closing activity plans. So the idea of a new listing or new closing activity plan is a series of predefined activities that you do when you get a listing or a closing. Just as with the email nurture campaigns, there's a predefined series of communications to nurture a lead. A listing activity plan is a predefined series of to-dos. And the idea behind it is that selling a home or helping a buyer to find a home, it's a process. Like everything else in business, it's a process. Now your process may be a little different from the person next to you and a little different from the colleague, down the line. But for everyone, it's a process. And there is a basic flow to it. So good real estate CRMs will include listing and closing activity plans, which means you get a new listing, you create it in the system, you assign the plan, and then day by day, the plan will remind you each morning what you need to do today to move the marketing and the sale of this property forward. It's a beautiful thing. Now, it comes out of the box with a certain flow to it. You can edit it. You can customize it. So you can say, well, I would never do that on day 2. That's a day 7 task to me. Well, change it around. Or you might look at something we put in day 10, and you say, no, I would do that in the first 3 days, move it around. There may be things you do that we haven't thought of, add the task. Or there may be steps that we've included that you say, it's a dumb step, I would never do that. Well, delete it, right? The whole idea is you can make them your own, but once you've made them your own, you can use them over and over again. And the impact is shocking. Here's the, life for the average agent, when they've got a lot on the go, has them at 3 o'clock in the morning, lying in bed, wide awake, staring at the ceiling with their mind racing, trying to keep track in their head of all the things that they're working on, all the milestones, the key activities, the key dates, meetings and appointments and so on. They're trying to keep it in their head, or they got sticky notes all over their screen. And when you're using activity plans properly and you're using the whole active business area of a CRM, it's very different. You sleep like a baby. You get up, and at 7:30 or 8 in the morning, as you're having your cup of Java, you look into your CRM. You just don't log in, or you check your phone, because we have a mobile app, and the system tells you, here's all the things you need to do today. Here's your appointments, and here's all the tasks you need to get done today, both related to your active business and also, by the way, related to your keep in touch marketing. So maybe there's 6 keep in touch calls you need to make today. There's 3 or 4 lead follow-up calls you need to make, and there's 7 or 8 tasks that you need to get done related to the 2 open listings that you have. So these automated reminders of important tasks and appointment, it really is like having your own virtual assistant, but at a fraction of the cost. Your average virtual assistant, you're looking at, well, it depends on what piece of the assistant you have, but it's hundreds a month, sometimes thousands a month. And Exact Contact, or most real estate CRM, we're $35 a month, but typically you're looking at 50 or 60 or less. So there's a huge impact there. And I've also had many realtors say to me, a lot of them say Exact is my virtual assistant, and they also say I'm able to handle way more business using Exact Contact than I was ever able to handle on my own using sticky notes and Excel spreadsheets and things like that. Okay, so if you do this right, if you execute the transaction efficiently and professionally, you've laid the foundation for a client for life, and that's what we all want. So what's step 5? Step 5 is keep in touch to generate referrals and repeat business. Again, step 4 was critical, but if you did that right, you're one of that 85% where the consumer said, yeah, I was satisfied or very satisfied with the job Rich did, and I will definitely send them referrals and work with them again next time around. So when I look at this step, this is the heart and soul of a real estate CRM. Real estate CRM will help you with all 5 steps, but this is the raison d'etre, it's the heart and soul. Real estate CRMs really are designed to make sure that when you've got happy past clients, you're keeping in touch and staying top of mind so that you never, ever, ever lose another referral or another opportunity to work with that client again to get that repeat business. And how? How does the CRM help you? So as I say, the core here really, the little diagram on the right, shows you some examples of the kind of things that a CRM can help you to do to keep in touch with people, everything from direct mail pieces, an e-newsletter, making keep in touch calls in a scheduled sort of strategic way, organizing and managing client appreciation party events, wishing people a happy birthday, move-in anniversary, or even just one-on-one stuff like, meet people for lunch, take Joe out for golf if he's, a good past client, and once a year you take him to the best golf course in town. So it can help you to manage all of these things. And the key is to have a plan. CRM helps you to build a plan where you're keeping in touch with people in a way that is relevant, timely, consistent, and sustainable. So no matter how, go back to those 2 extremes, even when you're in the crazy times, because business is so good, you don't let all your keep in touch activities fall away, which is what happens when it's manual. When it's all up to you to remembering to give people a call, it falls away. And with a CRM, you can make sure that nobody ever forgets you. So I'm going to share with you 4 or 5 different ideas here. And I'm going to lead off with a good e-newsletter, a professionally written and designed monthly e-newsletter. So this is just a great way to keep in touch with people. And there's an example on the right here of our e-newsletter. Every e-newsletter should go out with your branding at the top, by the way. It's called an email header. That's critical. I'll give you an email marketing tip. It's probably my 2nd or 3rd one here. A lot of agents put their branding, their photo, their company logo, the awards they've won, their contact info in their signature. And that's a mistake because people only get to your signature if they open your email and read it all the way to the bottom. By contrast, almost everybody sees the email header. No matter what the email they're using, Outlook or Gmail, most people have what's called a preview pane. So they see a preview of your email before they open it, but they only see the top of your email. So you want that branding touch to be right there at the top of your email. Then if they never even open your email, they don't open it, they don't read it, they see it, they hit delete, you still have that branding touch. You still reminded them that you're the realtor with ABC, Realty Company, and there's still a lot of value in that. But we go a lot further. Our monthly newsletters are, actually I'll save that for later. What's critical here is you want to make sure if you are going to do a newsletter, ideally it'd be nice if it's done for you, but if you want to create your own, you want to make sure the content is valuable. Everything you send should have articles that are informative and educational for a homeowner or someone who wants to be a homeowner, for two reasons. One is if people get value out of what you're sending them, they'll tend to want to keep receiving it. It's not spam. It's relevant information. The other benefit is it positions you as sort of the expert and the authority in all things home and real estate related. So, we're not big fans of recipes. We're also not big fans of just jamming listings in front of people. You may want to highlight your a hot new listing at the top of the newsletter, but the articles themselves, you should be always thinking with them. What's in it for me? That's what the homeowner's wondering. So give them information that actually adds value and talks to questions that homeowners are asking. So that's the power of a monthly newsletter. Another great thing a CRM can do is give you automated reminders when it's time to make keep-in-touch calls. So, let's say you take a strategic approach to your database and use the old 80-20 rule, and you say, you know what, there's probably 20% of my contacts that are going to drive 80% of my business over time. I want to grow that. That's my sphere of influence, and I'll grow that. But I want to make sure that I'll call that my A-list, let's say. If you're on my A-list, that top 20%, I want to make sure that I give you a phone call once every 90 days. Come heck or high water, I'm going to give you a phone call and say, hi, what's new, what's happening with the family, and so on. If you're on my B list, I probably can't reach out once every 90 days. I just don't have that much time. But maybe once every 6 months or once a year, I will make a phone call. And of course, what you're trying to do is elevate B contacts into A contacts, and that's what the CRM helps you to do as well. But these keep-in-touch call reminders are like a safety net. It doesn't matter how busy you are, you're going to get that reminder, hey, it's been 90 days since you talked to Sandra. Pick up the phone and say hello, right? So automated call reminders are a very powerful thing. Similar, but a little different, are automated reminders for birthdays and move-in anniversaries. And these are wonderful keep-in-touch opportunities. Birthdays are great because we're all human beings. Even crusty Uncle George, Axel Gruff when you talk to him, whatever. Everybody likes to be remembered on their birthday, even by their agent. So the challenge for most realtors, you may over years have gathered a lot of birthdays, and they're in your database. You might have 222 of them. But how do you get reminders? And it's a manual task in most systems, or if you're using Outlook or a spreadsheet, you got to go into a calendar and one by one create them. With a good real estate CRM, you can tell the software, scan my entire database, all 890 contacts, find every contact and spouse that's got a birthday, put it in my calendar as an annual reminder, and as well, give me a heads up 1 week before. And you're thinking to yourself, why do I want a heads up? Like if the birthday is on, is on the 25th, why don't I just want it to show up my calendar? And the reason you want the reminder a week in advance is it gives you an opportunity to decide how you're going to recognize that person on their birthday. If it's a B-level contact or whatever, you might just want to make a phone call or send an e-card, whatever. But if it's the birthday of someone who's really important to you, maybe you've done multiple transactions, they sent you multiple referrals, when their birthday comes, you may want to send a very special gift. You might want to send a gift basket or a box of their favorite Nicaraguan cigars, whatever it is. But you need a heads up. Even if you want to put a card in the mail, in postal mail, you can't do that the day of. You need the heads up to go to the Hallmark store at the mall and buy the card and stick it in an envelope and stick it in the mail, and it takes 2 or 3 days to arrive. So very powerful.
Rich, can I
yeah, go ahead.
Quick, so I was just going to jump in on that move-in anniversary. I heard last week I was at a conference and I heard somebody talking about like the reaches that they make to people, and one of the reaches they talked about on their move-in anniversary was this person is in Seattle, and so they're in a clearly a hot market. Not everybody's going to be in a market like this, but what they've been doing on their move-in anniversary for their past clients is sending them a CRM, or a CMA. So they'll go out and actually do a CMA on their house and say, hey guys, you're probably not thinking about moving anytime soon. You've only been in the house for a couple of years, but I just wanted to let you know 2 years in, here's what the value of your house looks like today. And I thought that was a really great kind of touch point at a move-in anniversary. It's not taking this person a ton of time. They're probably using something like Cloud CMA or something like that to do one of these CMAs, but I thought that was a really great touch point for a move-in anniversary.
I like that a lot, especially in a rising market, right? Because you're sharing good news with them, right?
Yeah, they made a joke that like, hey, I wouldn't do this in if the market was crashing necessarily.
Yeah.
But
I might put a slightly different spin on it. I love the idea, but I might wait a couple of years. Maybe do that starting year 3 or 4.
Absolutely.
In the first 2, 3, 3 years, to me, what you really want to do when you, and I love move-in anniversaries, by the way. If I had to choose, if I was an agent and God said I could only do either birthday recognition or move-in anniversary recognition, I'd go for the move-in anniversaries because it's so business relevant, right? But what I like is it's an opportunity to either send a note, send a flower basket, bouquet of flowers, or make a phone call. And really the message you want to convey is, hi, hi Sally and John, today's your 2-year anniversary of moving into, I hope you're still in loving 95 Deer Run. And I just wanted to thank you again for choosing me as your realtor. I so much enjoyed working with you on this, and it was my pleasure and my honor, and I hope you'll remember me, should you have any real estate needs going forward. So what I love is that opportunity to show gratitude, and at the same time as you're showing gratitude, you're reminding them of the great work you did, because of course they love their home, and they're reminded, oh yeah, we're only here because Rich helped us, find it and buy it and so on. So, you don't get that multi-layer with a birthday. You can say happy birthday. I like you, right? But with a move-in anniversary, you show gratitude and you remind them of the great work you did. So that's why I love move-in anniversaries. But I like the idea. First couple of years, I wouldn't be doing the CMA because it's kind of like, well, I got you into this home. Now, how quickly can I get you out of it? But, let a few years go by, then I think the CMA is brilliant. Another great idea, client appreciation events. And you may be thinking, okay, I get what that is, but what does that have to do with the CRM? And a good CRM, actually, because a CRM includes integrated calendar and task list, it basically is a tool that helps you to create, organize, and pull off these events. So whether you do it manually or you use, the power of your CRM, it's a great way to also keep in touch with people. And examples are things like movie mornings, pumpkin giveaways. If you live in the northern areas, family skates, holiday cocktail parties like my little Mad Men image on the right here. And yeah, so the nice thing about client appreciation events, particularly if you invite, you don't even have to call them client, just networking events, right? Invite clients and prospects, and then they mingle. And of course, what do strangers do when they're mingling? They say, so how do you know Rich? Oh, well, Rich helped me, buy our home 3 years ago. And in fact, 10 years before that, he helped us sell a home. How do you know? Oh, well, yeah, I just met Rich at a party 2 months ago. We're thinking of buying a home, and I was thinking of working with Rich. And so when you mix happy clients with prospects, there's another whole level of synergy and goodness that happens with that. All right, generating referrals and repeat business. So this is a very hot topic. Most agents know all about asking for referrals. Sometimes I think it's a little oversimplified. I get emails, and every now and then at the bottom, there's a stock phrase that I see over and over again. I just went blank, but it's like,
I'm
never too busy.
Runs on referrals. Yeah, never too busy.
Yeah, exactly. My business runs on referrals, or I'm never too busy for your referrals, and that's cool. But where CRM helps you is it takes it to a different level. So yes, you do need to ask, whether it's a little, a blurb in your email signature, or it's actually talking to people, as you're wrapping up a transaction, helping them move into their home. You do need to ask. It's a good thing. And the more specific you can be, the better. That's a tip, by the way, about human psychology and asking for things. If you ask someone, hey Bob, do you know anyone who could use realtors, a realtor like me? The problem with the human brain is Bob actually goes blank for a moment, and he, after a couple of seconds, kind of says no. But if I ask Bob, by the way, Bob, let's say Bob's a retiree who just downsized, and I helped him downsize. I say, hey, Bob, you wouldn't happen to know any other folks like yourselves, couples that are looking to downsize, thinking to moving from, suburbia around, into more of a downtown condo kind of situation. Bob's mind is able to focus much better. And before you know, Bob says, actually, yeah, you know what? The Smiths and the Galloways, last time we played bridge, they were both saying that they were thinking of doing the same thing. So when you ask with some specificity, you're actually more likely to get referrals than when it's completely wide open. Do you know anyone who needs a realtor today? So that's just a little psychology tip for you. What does that have to do with the CRM? It's this. With a CRM, it actually helps you to manage the referrals process. So kind of like with getting a client, when you get a referral, that's not the end of the job, that's the beginning of the job. And if you want to make sure that that person who gave you a referral gives you more referrals, then you got to make sure you do a great job in the process. So what a lot of the mistake that agents often make, they get a referral, they say, thanks so much, I really appreciate it. And then that's the last time the person who gave the referral ever hears from the agent. What you want to do is when you get the referral, you say thank you. And then maybe wait a couple days, or maybe after you've had a chance to reach out to the client, you send a little communication back to the person who gave you the referral, let them know what happened. Hi, I met with June and Jordan. Looks good. We're going to meet again in a week, you know, yada, yada. And ideally, along the process, while you work with that client, give little updates to the person who gave you the referral. These don't have to be long essays, just little updates. And each time, of course, saying, listen, just want to thank you again for referring me to June and Judy, or June and George. You know, I'm working with them, and it's a real delight. They're such wonderful people, you know, blah, blah, blah. And of course, when it's done, when you've helped them move into that new home or you've sold their home successfully, circle back one last time, again, acknowledge them. Because here's the thing, what a lot of people don't realize, not all referrals are equal. If I give a referral to Bob for a hairstylist, that's one thing. If the hairstylist doesn't do a great job and Bob doesn't like him, it's not the end of the world. Bob's hair grows back and he goes to someone else a month later. But when you're referring a realtor to someone, you're referring someone who's going to handle the largest financial transaction of their entire life for many people. So when people refer realtors, there's a lot of their credibility riding on that referral. So that's why it's important that you do a great job, obviously, but also that you treat that referral with a lot of respect and with a lot of communication. And the CRM helps you with that part. You can get automated reminders so that, you know, you don't, because we're humans, what happens is we get the referral, we're so appreciative the moment we get it, but, you know, 3.5 months later, when that referral finally, you know, closes on their new home purchase or sells their home, you know, that was ages ago, and we've forgotten, and we're busy, and there's things coming at us, and we never circle back. And if you don't circle back, you know, your chances of getting another referral from that person go way down. Or to put the positive spin on it, by doing a good job communicating and showing appreciation and closing the loop at the end, you dramatically increase your chance that you'll get more referrals from that person.
Rich, I've made 2 referrals in the last year. I've made more, but 2 that are particularly sticking out of my head. In one scenario, I would refer my aunt to a real estate agent, and I never knew what happened with that thing until months later when I would see my aunt again. So, like, the agent never kept me updated. Not that I need to be involved in that transaction, right? But a separate referral where I referred a good friend of mine, the agent totally kept me involved, let me know when it closed. You know, they sent me a thank you, and it was such a better experience for me. Like, as I look back on it, that the experience where I was kind of kept in the loop and let to know what was happening from the agent, right? Like, so you're like hitting the nail on the head for me.
Right on. All right. I just realized that I've been talking a bit long-winded because we've got 5 minutes to go, so I'm going to accelerate here a bit. So, but good news is we've covered the 5 key steps. Voila, ta-da! So these are the 5 key steps for turning leads into lifetime clients. Step 1, generate new leads somehow, some way. Step 2, capture and qualify those new leads quickly, respond quickly, capture them automatically. Step 3, nurture and convert leads, especially the longer-term high-quality leads, into clients. Step 4, execute the transaction professionally and with excellence. Step 5, keep in touch to generate referrals and repeat business, which of course generates new leads, and away we go. I have a little bit more I want to cover. Making this process work for you. So, you know, hint, you don't have to have a good real estate CRM and email marketing system, but it sure helps. It is so much, it's not a little bit, it's not like 10% easier if you use a CRM. It's order of magnitude easier than trying to do it manually or with paper and pen and, you know, sticky notes and so on. But I have a couple key messages. So this is one of them. Oh, sorry, I'm going to go back. Why didn't I go back? There we go. One key message I wanted to share with you here is that although there's 5 key steps, it's not an all or nothing proposition. And I think I mentioned that at the beginning. There may be certain steps that you feel you're very comfortable with. You're in good shape there. There's others that are more urgent, more opportunity for improvement. Pick the steps that made the most sense to you and work on those. There's obviously synergy. Like, the more you can do a good job at all 5 steps, the better. But just improving, if you just improve on step 3 and step 5, that's good for your business. You just work on step 1 and 2, that's good for your business. Work on what makes sense. The other key message is that you can do it. This isn't actually that hard. You honestly can do it. Break it down. Get a good tool, like a good real estate CRM, and you can really make this happen. And it can be just life-changing to your business because you're systematizing your business. You're treating it as a true business, and a lot of good things happen. I have 2 slides on the ROI. Like, what is the return on investment of this? Because it will take some time, and it will take, you have to get a CRM, a whole $35 a month. But there's some assumptions here, and because I'm out of time, I'm going to go through it very, very quickly. I can always send you the math if you want to see it. But if through following this process, you got 1 net new client per quarter that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise, and that client moves once every 10 years, which is way less than the average in the USA, and when they move, you get both ends. It's a good assumption. And this person gives you 1 referral per year over those 10 years. But you don't close every one because you're not perfect, but maybe you close 3 out of the 10 referrals. And if your average commission is $7,500 per end, which is assuming an average transaction price of $300,000, which is reasonable in some areas and is ridiculously low in the urban centers, but here's the kicker. At the end of those 10 years, you will have increased your gross commission income by $150,000 per year from just following this process and gaining 1 net new client per quarter that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten. 1 per quarter for a year. So the ROI is huge, bottom line. All right, Bob, if you could just put the little link to the ebook. For those of you who want to dive into this 5 key steps a little further, we have an ebook. It describes it a bit more detail. You're welcome to get that. I'm going to keep moving here. So what is Exact Contact? So very quickly, as you might have guessed, Exact Contact is a real estate CRM and email marketing solution that also includes a mobile-friendly, responsive agent website. And the key is it helps you to execute every one of the 5 key steps. And the entire system, it's one integrated system with these 3 components, CRM, email marketing, and website. You don't have to use the website, by the way. It's there for agents who don't have one or have one that's old, or all they've got is a page, a page on the broker site. But the entire thing is an integrated solution, and it's easy to learn and use. I'm going to skip. It's got all the basics that you would expect in a world-class real estate CRM. Rich contact profiles, contact history, categorization, calendar and task list with reminders. We talked about the active business area for managing your listings, and so much more. Some things that make Exact Contact unique are its ease of use. The system is truly easy to learn and easy to use, and a lot of CRMs are not. That's been one of the challenges or the knocks on CRM over the years and the decades, is that they can be very complex. Some of the legacy ones truly are. The second uniqueness is this automation. So that was a major theme of this presentation. No CRM software automation will ever replace the realtor. This is still a human-to-human business, but automation can help you be far more effective and efficient, and to scale your business to a level you never thought possible through automation. It allows you to focus your time on doing the things that make sense doing. The breadth of our solution is unique. Our concierge support is unique. So when you sign up for Exact Contact, one of our support reps helps you do everything possible to get you up and running on the system. Take advantage of whatever features in the software you want to take advantage of to address those 5 steps. So this goes as far as uploading your data, setting up your Google Sync, helping you create a graphical email header, helping you set up the monthly newsletter, helping you set up your website, and so on and so forth. So the business impact is huge, and the value is a differentiator because it's only $35 a month. That concierge support I was describing, that's free. There's no fee to that. You're in a free trial period, and this is what we do to help you get up and going. So some of the unique features, I've talked about the monthly newsletter. It's unique in 2 ways. One is, we're not talking a template. It is a professionally written and designed e-newsletter. Fresh content every month, never recycled, and it's fully automated. So you can take a couple minutes, you set it up, decide what day of the month you want it to go, time of day, etc. And every month it will go with fresh content, with your branding at the top, and you don't have to do a thing. You could be on a 3-month sabbatical in Tahiti, and your monthly newsletter would reach out to your 872 people in your database, tap them on the shoulder, and remind them that you're the real estate expert in your neighborhood. Website we talked about, email campaign reporting we talked about. We also have a mobile app, and we support Google Sync. Great solution for teams. We talked about concierge service. I'm going to skip through. This is just a couple of screenshots of what the mobile app looks like. Kind of here's your contact list. If you click on a contact, kind of the information you get. I'm going to go through this quickly. We looked at that already. This is an example of the e-newsletter. And sorry, just go back for 1 second. Yeah, I can't actually scroll through it. Where's the proof? We've been well reviewed everywhere, including Active Rain, by the way. And on our website, we have literally hundreds of client testimonials. Not dozens, hundreds. And these are just, they come in every day. Email testimonials. And we have so many, we categorize them. So you can see all the testimonials on the business benefits, on the ease of use, on support, on our websites. It's pretty incredible. How do you get Exact Contact? So the value is strong because you're looking at a CRM, newsletter, campaign reporting, and a website. Often, if you wanted to get those 4 things from individual solution providers, you'd be anywhere from $100 to 200, and you're getting all that in one solution for $35 a month. So the special offer for webinar attendees today is an extended 60-day free trial. Normally, it's just a month. At the end of during that 60-day free trial, it's the full software. You can upload unlimited contacts, or you'll get the full concierge service. At the end of your free trial, monthly billing does begin, $34.95 a month, but it's month by month. There's no contract. You can cancel at any time without penalty. Rookies, by the way, get 6 months free. There is nothing else like this in the industry. Nobody gives rookies 6 months free, but we have our reasons for doing that. We think it's very tough business to get into, and we want rookies to get started using a CRM, to start to build their business on it. That's the time actually to implement systematization. It's a lot harder to do it when you're 3 years down the line, and it's like the proverbial trying to change the engines on the 747 when it's in midair. It's a lot tougher. So to get a 60-day free trial or to sign up as a rookie, either way, just go to exactcontact.com/ActiveRain60. That's the URL for the special offer.
I shared that. Everybody who's on the call, I shared that in your chat area there, so you should have gotten both the link to the ebook that's kind of a deeper dive into the stuff we talked about today, and then also this link for you guys to get a 60-day free trial. Rich, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, if you don't have a CRM, do yourself a huge favor. Get one. If it's not ours, get somebody else's. But if you don't have one today, try Exact Contact. Or if you have one today and it's not working for you, give Exact Contact a try. There's a world of difference. There's my contact info. I have extra time, so I can open up for questions. I will say this. Those of you who have to leave, if you typed in a question, I will make sure that myself or someone on my team circles back to you. They'll give you a call or send you an email. We will answer every question that did come in. I apologize this went a little late, but I can take questions right now. And there's my contact info. So Bob, what questions do we have that I can handle at this point?
So I've got stuff like, if I have a different CRM, is the process of getting my stuff, let's say out of something like a Top Producer, for example, is the process of getting that stuff into your guys' product, can I do it? I'm not like manually.
The answer is yes. Okay. Yeah, the answer is yes. No matter where your data is, whether it's in Top Producer or Agent Office or Outlook or an Excel spreadsheet or your MLS, is part of our concierge service. We'll help you get that data into Exact Contact. In fact, we do the upload for you.
Yeah, I'm assuming as long as you guys can get it out of your existing one in like a CSV file or something like that. Does that sound about right?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying even if they don't know how to get it out of their current system, awesome. One of our support reps will do a screen share, go into their current system with them, and help them get it out.
Sweet. Adele says, and Rich just mentioned this, so maybe she had asked this before, but yeah, an unlimited amount of contacts in there, right? There's not some limit at 100 or something on this free offer. I mean, they can add as many as they want, right?
That's correct.
Cool. Is there an ability, like if I'm getting leads from like a Zillow, let's say, to have those leads feed into the CRM?
That's the automated lead capture that we talked about in step 2.
Cool. So is that something where like you give Zillow like an email address that they deliver to, and that email address ports it into Exact Contact, something like that?
Generally speaking, Bob, you're right on. Zillow's slightly different. They've got their own API called Zillow Tech Connect, and we're a Zillow Tech Connect member.
Cool. So you guys are tapping into that. So, assuming that it's one of these, larger folks, the Realtor.coms, the Zillows, the Trulias, the Homes.com, they're going to be able to pull your leads in and get those campaigns up and running. Yeah,
absolutely.
This is a big theme here. What about, so Steve says, who owns the URL for the website? Let's say I get a website set up for you guys. Is that something where I go out to GoDaddy and get my own URL, and then your concierge help me hook it up to my domain?
Yes and yes. So the agent always owns the URL. They can get one from GoDaddy and just type it in when they're doing their website setup, or they can register a domain through us. It's really a convenient service, but it's their URL in all cases, their domain.
Awesome. And then Michelle says, is the $35 the trial period? And no, I mean, I think that you're going to get a 60-day trial period for free, and then $34.95 a month would be what you would pay after that trial period's over, Michelle.
That's correct.
Yeah. All right. So I'm trying to, there's all kinds of, what about IDX feeds, Steve asks? So I assume that you guys are going out and working with the MLSs, Rich, or maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so when the website, so for the $34.95 a month, you get the CRM, the email marketing, the newsletter, and you get a website. The website does not include IDX. It's got a lot in it, 16 pages of pre-written content, a blog, social media integration, Facebook feed, Twitter feed, and so on, multiple lead capture forms. IDX is an optional upgrade. There's kind of two levels, IDX Standard for $13 a month and IDX Professional, which is like the Ferrari of IDX, and that's $33 a month, $32.95 a month. And we actually are working with a very well-respected IDX broker called iHomeFinder. So we integrate iHomeFinder into your website for you. There's no work on your end. That's how that works.
Nina asks, is there any kind of limit on the number of emails I can send, or a limit on the number I can send at once? Like if I had 5,000 people in my database, can I hit large volumes of people at the same time?
Yes, and in fact, we're one of the few real estate CRMs that really has no limits email marketing. There's no limit on the size of your distribution list, and there's no limit to how many mass emails you send in a month. And most real estate CRMs do have limits that you can only send so much in a month, or so much a day, or so much in a given distribution list. I was aware of one competitor that had a limit of I think 300 people could be in a mass email. But if you've got a database of 3,000 contacts, which is not that, it's big, but it's not that unusual for realtors, especially teams. Well, who's going to break their mass email into 10 sections to send it out, right? It's not practical.
Okay, there's some other real specific questions in here, Rich. I'm gonna give these to you. So when we get done here, I'll send you over all these. Charles has some specific ones. I'll make sure you get your hands on these so that you can reach out or have somebody on your team reach out and get these guys some answers. We're 10 minutes past the top of the hour. I appreciate the heck out of Rich being here. Thank you to all you guys for hanging out with us. If you don't have a CRM in your business right now, this is a no-brainer, right? Go take the 60-day free trial. Get your database in there. Like, let's start. I mean, I say this half tongue-in-cheek, but half not. Let's start running a real business, right? Like, let's get the backbone of your business is really a CRM for really any kind of a service business. So, especially where referrals mean such a big deal to us, and so much of what's the transactions that happen in a given year are based on people giving referrals or working with somebody they've worked with in the past. So get in there, you guys. Like, it's absolutely a no-brainer if you don't have one. Now, I see a lot of questions in here. I can tell people have something else and they're thinking about switching over. Rich and his team will get back to you guys with some of these real specific answers. And Rich, thanks, man. Everybody who's on here, we will send this recording out to you guys. It'll be out tomorrow, so you'll all get an email with the recording. You'll be able to get these links and that sort of thing. We'll include those with the recording as well. So, Rich, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and Bob, thank you. And thank you, everyone who attended the webinar. I hope you learned one or two new things.
All right, so you guys get out there, kick butt in real estate for the rest of the week. We look forward to seeing you again real soon at Active Rain University. Rich, thank you so much for your time today. Everybody, you guys have a great week in real estate. On behalf of Noel, who's always behind the scenes recording, my name is Bob Stewart. Rich, I appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody.
Take care. Bye, Bob. Bye, everyone.